Living in his body that he don't really know. Okay. Living in his body that he don't really know. Living in his body that he don't really know. Okay. You wanna use reasons, openness to expose how closed I seem. Let's explore this shit, shall we? This openness only makes him a gun range, a target, a bullseye for rightful rhetoric. He doesn't understand love is a fighting word. Why the fuck you think the heart is the size of a fist in the first place? Honestly, he's so fucking weak. I'm tired of him calling me weak. He doesn't understand the strength it takes to hold on to anything. Honestly, he's just a coward who measures his strength on how far he can push everything over praise. It's just a buffet of trauma, offering himself up by everyone to pick through our scars to get full of our faults. Leave without ever finishing a fucking plate. No, all that's left are the tables dirty from the scraps of us. They always leave behind because they always leave us behind. Split. Y'all never seen the anyway. Honestly, I don't really know how to answer this question. All I can tell you is that there is such a difference. I hope there's someone out there, anyone out there who can just love. Just love. Just love. All of me. Personalities living in his body that he don't really know. Okay. You wanna use reasons, openness to expose how closed I seem. Let's explore this shit, shall we? This openness only makes him a gun range, a target, a bullseye for rightful rhetoric. He doesn't understand love is a fighting. Oh, I ain't never scared. Or this poem here is called How to Use an Ultralight Beam as a Nightlight to Finish a Coloring Book while eating Sunday candy in the dark of doubt. You know when you just give yourself a chance? No, this poem here is called The Heart is a House of Love. Or love and fear can't exist in the same space. So this poem here is called When the Heart Serves Fear, It's Eviction Notice. No. This poem here is called Almost Gave Up Today. Except my son's smile, except my daughter's laughs, except my mama's prayers. No, this poem here is called Guess What, y'all? Your faith ain't never left. It was just your inner child, loving to play hide and seek at all the worst times, which usually be the perfect time, cause it always loves to hide in all the places you forget to look when you're going through some shit, like the last place you saw God in you. Or this poem here is called The Praise Dance of a Sinner, Bone Crusher. Oh, I ain't never scared. Or this poem here is called How to Use an Ultralight Beam as a Nightlight to Finish a Coloring Book while eating Sunday candy in the dark of doubt.
Where the truth lies in the middle of the perception and eyes, have vows that would explain sometimes why it's hard to comprehend. Who's to compromise with the empty promise and full of remorse that can't find a way out of peeking for your light and shadows and not easily to look over the logic and sweat producing that thought. Modified to the sleep through the amnesty for the periphery of the eyes to see the unbelievable, to pray to your ideologies and parallel form for your paradise and your line of propaganda. Proportionally pray before you pray with the eyes open for the closed mind to find the bliss and the execution for the field. Peace beneath the surface of the common ground for the unfamiliar bloodlines untied for the wrist and dissolutely resisting your destitution with the enemy of the ancestor in your belly taught for you had no ears to feel or witness the mirror for this to be the past passes you messaged over you past the pastures or with the distant place the plastic garbage patches over your ozone. You need not to be apologetic for the silence, and rather authentic for the never to talk about the ears of description for the interpersonal relationship, for the interpretation, for the scriptures of the living in the word, for the finding in the haiku, for the syllables and the feeling, the paralegious pain. Who was settled and unsure to raise a hand for this, the fist tight for the righteous acts, this no reactions of rice and swipe to your tender topics for the troubling of the strapped, this life jackets of the culture, the factor for the blood that warms the heart. Ignite the emotion to utilize in your kinetic energy for the circulation to break the cycles and patterns and taught us your culture with the paradoxes and words synonymous to economics and space, time. Relevance to find the truth in the numbers and not to forgive for not to untie the words of curse to this to find it being tongue-tied. This is a lack of words and misled the heart to piece of paper mache. A balloon to not be crumbled away in the wind for the present, the current love breezes to take your flight at the counting in the number of the times I answered the math that eventually was my calling to know the purpose and not propose. Propose a position for the propel yourself with the propelling of vision, the tunnel superside for the high notes to sing your mother earth, the white notes and the early mistakes and mistaken and missing. What was taken out to replace a reporter distorted for the distant ways of the gravitational pulling and vibrating over your vibes, this families and tribes. The capacity to capital zip codes to older soul for this reconnected to the soil, reincarnated for the who can find the love, the ambition to steer clear for the pollution that can't wait. Give carbon emission, electronic and reconditioned over the weather for the over conditions is re-invited for this in vital times. This is not to have to wait your time to this will be. Where the libraries where they lie in silence and not to speak too loud to the rouse and awaken the sheep. You will never pay attention. You can't afford to mention the release. What you find in any given situation where you're stamped for this, the closing eyes and high notes to escape the right noise. You paid attention to nothing. Stamped to the brain to expedite it, to ship to the location to be read wrong and well. She read many stories and never the vision that we told. This is not a confident tone that was too low to comprehend what the technological for the comprehending of the ways and never to use to find the familiar with. Either way, the wrong for the demanding something to someone different for the what I created, the woes of doubt for this, the people have wept and weep to seek. This is all the shame for the never, instead of that putting your ass in front of you with the backyard compliments and your garden never finish. You started to talk about the meals, the processed food for the take out some of the same scene for the take out for the lot of ton of energy for the wasted resources of your energy to generate the hope in the dark place of the carbon copies, missions, how somehow pass the small to the pace. Pass the reference check for the points of the registration for the never be tagged for the color the bogus stand up with the allowed to proceed. No dirt to deceive for the no pro-life for the old dead soil, razor suspension for your cycles and fences and pedals over your stool for the healthy environmental. Compassion to compass in which take long trips and nowhere to the half a tank of cigarettes and no break fast, this is broke the fat. And relieves the real quick and enough for the appetite for the budget for the maybe the lack that for the will to wash it all down with the drain to the ocean for the where all ends and started from. It would reach the levels of tolerance for the less staff of the which it came to feel and not see the waves of the surfacing over the riding under defenses of the shore for the stealing of the shells is this rich history. A currency sale you'll escape for the allowing you to sail to pieces this until the next storm comes and unnoticed and unprepared for the well announced for the hovering over the clouds. Or changing your moods to shifting your shape for the dreams at night to mirror the mirrors over the waves, the items of your subtle memory banks where you overdraft accounts and this to save yourself for the work until the spend time to be someone or somebody, anyone or over and never to care about enough to save them for the hardship for the war, for the mothers and fathers of being sent to seas and over traffic, put in your front line. Or stones we've been thrown in backpacks and pack around to feel the burden over the people to carry over the walk to listen anymore without the people to thinking you stole something. Or instinct smelling something fishy but can't sense that for the what is missing for the evidence of the proof of the reading your rights to be citizens to rest and give it the rest of remaining peace. While the blind spot in the eye and the storm for the air for the mildew to station your signals and potent guilt for the breezing over your inner streets in your city where you reside in.
And shake their hand and let them go. It's gonna be hard to, but if they loved you, darling, you'd know. So stop begging them to stay. They're not the one, and that's okay. If they wanna leave, then shake their hand and let them go. It's gonna be hard to, but if they loved you, darling, you know. So stop begging them to stay. They're not the one, and that's okay. If they wanna leave, then shake
Restore my faith so that our eyes would become us and we would come to be. We are there before there was me and you, there for the love, for the here and the now, for the love to be with you. When I come to the altar, for the altar to pass it now. Love to death, this will never part from you. Me and we will be as always, and you are the union for the marriage and the age of Mary, for the kiss that express the truth, the gratitude for the greatness and grateful of cup. Run over the brim for the river that bloods my veins. This is your heart that pumps the circulation to the circumference and the circumstances surpass. Any obstacle for the ride of destiny, for the destination your nation is real as Israel, for the body, the people, over the land, and it's the holiness and the lion, it's the truth and the lies and the darkness and illuminating over your caverns for the tavern, the spirits of your wine, the celebratory for the declaration, for the declared your victory. Ours is cheers and tears, that shift for the relations to the bow, for the eyes of the storm that remain calm. Even during chaos, the peace within the harmony, for the currency and the money that makes the over the worthy your value, for the validating your days of the calendar, for the cylinder, for the linen.
Restore my faith so that our eyes would become us and we would come to be. As we are there before there was me and you, there for the love, for the here and the now, for the love to be with you. When I come to the altar, for the altar to pass it now. Love to death, and this will never part from you. And we will be as always, and you are the union for the marriage and the age of Mary, for the kiss that express the truth, the gratitude for the greatness and grateful of cup. Run over the brim for the river that bloods my veins. This is your heart that pumps the circulation to the circumference and the circumstances surpass. Any obstacle for the ride of destiny, for the destination your nation is real as Israel, for the body, the people, over the land, and it's the holiness and the lion, it's the truth and the lies and the darkness and illuminating over your caverns, for the tavern, the spirits of your wine, the celebratory for the declaration, for the declare your victory. Ours is cheers and tears, that shift for the relations to the bow, for the eyes of the storm that remain calm. Even during chaos, the peace within the harmony, for the currency, the money that makes the over the worthy your value, for the validating your days of the calendar, for the cylinder, for the linen. The acidic elements of the table periodically for the manifesting of the words, the flesh, the vows, and over the spirit, which should never depart to import your importance for the romance. The Romans ruined that for the row of the canoes, who can't know for this the difference in the difficult for the cultures and for the list of chapter for the book of the life and after. For the return not to be redundant, but yet repent for the verses to be repetition, for the advocate for the petition that may. Partitions and patents and patronizing your patrol, for the control of dictators to define your word, like living over the walking dictionary, for the jurisdiction over your sovereign foreign place not to forget, for the daily bread, for the do this if it remembers them, or not the U.S. and this is the acronym for the cycle for the moon and satellites and illuminated by your light. Awake in the night, the day for the needs, the kneeling of the pray, for the answer, the save, for the be and you, for the Deuteronomy, for the nomadic lands and wings, and this to fly the grounds and landmarks. You spot the space at X, this map crossroads, the crosswalk without the J, for the walking over the Yahweh, for the right away, for the way, the light to make the haste, not to waste it, eat from the beating over the waistline, the belt to be beloved, for the begotten noble to bestow. Bestiary for the Daniel and the Dan for the lion, to the faith for the sight, for the victory for your King David, for the reigning over the throne, rain to clouds, the kingdom with the water, for the well of drink, for this appears a cup of this you can find a pouring over the Bethlehem of the Narrows. New Jerusalem, and known the Jews to the Gentile sun to shine. On the earth for the new beginning, the perish of heaven over the fruits of labor for the producing over you. Well, this is my body and this eat, for this is the church and this is the blood. For this is the sheep and my shepherd for the keep me near your salvation. Yah salvage from the made us new, for the newborn, for the born again like they had a deja vu. For the Jew to prove that the spirit, and to us like we are intoxicated for the spirit over the made it whole, holy, over the made us whole, for the see-through, for the transparently parental, for the advisory, the document in your television, the documentaries for the doctrine. Dichotomy dynamic for your dialogue, log the rebirth for the death of zombies, and that you can find a sixth sense to pay me since this is salvation, the worthy. Worth the value to afford me. Or effort that pushed the comfort for the fortune and found the forward to tune to this the Psalms of Solomon for the soul of man for the independence and we 1 to 1. Me that didn't fight for the independence of the pet me for the bellying over the cross of the boundaries of the boundary now for the bound for this bell bleeding. Tell me the honor for the harness, sleeve for the harnessing over the your nest to be flying, and that's this time to fly for this and that's. The future was behind and behind. The beehives that stick me for the honeybees and the sweeting to me for the never to find out. To give the love and the life and live for the sweet for this to see the home for the scenery for the signal for the smoke to the air for this to see what the air the kingdom for this lost with the finding of me. That's myself and I, this a day lock. Over the soul with pluck, one beat for the pluck. This ice rink for the raven, over the rake. Be the rake, the tree for this leaf. Be the rooting like a cheerleader, but nobody to follow me. For the this will be the kingdom for Christ, that descendant for the synergy, for the symmetry, for the simplicity, for the simplifying your finite with daylight. The sunrise in me to shine in order to see me. For the order, the core for the courtesy, for the while that you can see the core for the judge, and that the robe of judge claim to disappear to be none of what your law can accuse me to. This is the fine with you. For the 23 for the spirit or galaxy for the galaxy over your galaxy gal. And me the postmark over the man for the stories of history for the majestic. The male the center for the center creator for the male the gender. Sent back to the center for the building blocks of the carbon emission state.
Store my face that my eyes would become as we would. Store my face that my eyes would become as we would. To be as we are there before there was me. For the love, for the here, for the now, for the love to be with you. When I come to the altar, for the altar to pass it now. Store my face so that my eyes would become as we would. To be as we are there before there was me. For the love, for the here, for the now, for the love to be with you. When I come to the altar, for the altar to pass it now. Love to death, this never part from me. Me and we is always in union for the marriage of the beings who marry for the kiss that express the truth, the gratitude, the greatness and gratefulness.
Can I see you? Can I see you? Can I see your truth? Can I see the thought process of you for the what's the missing piece? What's the lost project? This could be your muse or your tune or your haiku for the love that hits you like a typhoon with Can I see you? Can I see you? Can I see your truth? Can I see the thought process of you for the what's the missing piece? What's the lost project? This could be your muse or your tune or your haiku for the love that hits you. You're like a typhoon with the dish die soon, or your kiss will listen to me in high noon. This is your holding a knife. Could do a pain for the rewriting a story, or not to tell it for how it ends. And I love the day for this to be blue enough to have the who knew. Who can I could be the muse? Or muse to tell the words that aren't enough for this to be soothed by the heart for the healing of the scars. The lonely winter nights over through the spring, but I'm afraid that they're not strong enough for this to be the crucifixion of what you still bring for the life of the drive for this time of the past, hoping for the lover for the still not try. Matter for the odds of this never side. Believing in a new year for the life of that for the matter. Death and your darkness would try to find and find it. What's only failed enough to keep trying? Why? What's the worst and worst are enough? This is holy. The pause before the sun to roll. This world seems strange already. Strange is that feeling of not home, dispossessed by the melody of silence and world and pause, dying like memories, and the aroma for your nature takes over the soul. Heart dictate for this and find a ditching of the feelings and abandon for a while. Sign of a beating rise, bring me back to life. What's the feeling for the never to stay too long for the soon fade away? World's going to resume. This is returning to the grave, huh? I want to be at the memorial for the under the bed, for the quaking over the later dread, for this the presence and the looking over the you can find the big thing. Sky clouds just fine what when you are happy enough with the feel. Split it, what's this objective for the realization, for the objective, for the fact this is to be all. This is the importance of the purpose of the soul. Who I'm unique, you know. To see by mind, for look back, this is all not the words that it was written for the never to imagine in mind, for this to take the time for to make me realize. The time has come to make me image of that for the what's tacked up strong. Enough of the entirely image of the throne. Crafted for the pen and enough sculpted for the cleaning up what's right, for this to be the pointing at for what's a real person, for the standing in front of us anymore. To be the more than a perception of the strive. The tree is strife for this to break a branch. Stretching and dying at the same time, death for the slowly enough at the inside of that. With bright sprites, this spreads deep roots, yo, underground for the enough of the infected for the can't stand tall, majestically enough of the foundation that's corrupt. This is the empty for what fruit grows. This is from the branch above, this is spoiled into the core. Riddling with that, with the moaning of a bird or insect, like you dare to touch what's scanned for this year to you. Played from within, limbs hang with the sorrow. Riddled with the disease of this tree come crashing. The season finally ceased, this is all. If could, will, and just find mind would agree for this kept going enough to became who want to be. Nirvana kept wrong for this to become what I wanted to be. For the could it be better, for the let it go for my fear, for this to live. This is wasting for the year or day, for this to feel that it could be great enough to love you some more, for this to be you can learn. To enjoy walking after this to be something beautiful to death to walk away from you, letting chance this pass by. If it could be peaceful enough for the ignoring the doubt, for this to not listen for the loved ones that reaching out. Could be relief, this is accept what's true, this find the matter for the night king of you and everyone else. This is to really that would could be the divine or other divine love for the heart liberated from all the sorrows inflicted for the self-illusion for your train, this bliss without self, this eternal God of infinity for the nirvana for the purpose and the hero has a feeling for the night skies, soul for this to never play the saving of yourself and not hurt enough to play around with the flirting of curses. Sing over yourself in eternity for the bleeding eternally for your darkness is just not a mind for light, it's sublime. Keep your curses emerging with the sole purpose of what you have heard. This being contagious or courteous and if the ain't burning me and hurting me for the step off of the journey, but can't be a part of the darkness and the fall for the heartless. Craving kindness, you want to see love, but this is demolished. Dwelling in a broken promise system, but you find the meaning of a master state, finding what's karma. Can't wait for what bites you, for this to not bite me long enough, for the sound, for the more, for the then to plead, this falling for me, but never to find a feet. Or set for free for this to find scattered in the debris, picking up your broken pieces and bending over your incredibilities. What creates so decreases it for the break, and printed over your veins of this can't look. Chance to hold inside the key for what's to agree to, what's to through the armor for the already had in me. Loving was a gamble for the